My name is Torsten Lauschmann. I'm showing some work which has been shown before in a new arrangement in the Laing Gallery. There's five pieces. Three of them are kind of sequenced in a new special way for the Laing Gallery, and two other pieces are kind of continuous pieces which play continuously. Recently I've tried to kind of control the kind of duration and the relationship between different works and sequence them, which is a continuously evolving piece of work where a new piece of work get included into the sequence. So in the gallery I have a player piano, which is kind of the in the center of the gallery, and a projection of a candle, and 5 slide projectors showing slides of people holding up the sun as you would do in your holiday. It started off with a projection piece, with a candle piece, which in its original form was just a projection in an empty space, and once the candle was blown out, the kind of gallery light came on and revealed the kind of whole construction of the projection, the projector, the cables and everything, and suddenly there was no art, only the visitor of the gallery. This time I used the kind of candle as a trigger to trigger off sequences on the piano, trying to build up some relationship between that mechanical automaton or machine, if you want, and also the kind of the slide projectors. And there's also now, or the new thing is, there's an addition to like a recording of my son trying to play the piano, which actually plays the keys, but also the background noise of him playing it. What I'm interested in is not explore the world and kind of the way how you express, or how we express ourselves, and what tools we use to kind of express ourselves, or to make actually the world function, and kind of counterpoint that with like some kind of human needs or something. And so that, I think that's where the element of like maybe having my son trying to play the piano as a kind of, and the failure of it within it is quite important. Same way like the failure of like of trying to hold the sun, you know, the kind of impossibility. So that is kind of quite an unconscious choice of kind of trying, and a really quite romantic choice, but it's trying to kind of get the balance between the kind of clunkiness of technology and the kind of the inhumane kind of nature of having something sequenced. And I think that's why the choice of the player piano is kind of, I think it's kind of quite it's a really, even if it's, I feel like it's now, I've overused it now, using a player piano, but I think it combines, has the kind of all this kind of, has all these elements actually inbuilt of like the romanticism, the kind of humanness, the kind of, but also the kind of coldness and the kind of instant gratification of like, you know, you press a button and it plays the most beautiful, expressive music. People have described my work as too slow for film and too fast for photography. That's kind of they're not holding still enough to be photography, but they're not actually moving to be called film. And I think that was probably the interest, the way I was asked to kind of show. And I don't know, I think it's hard if you kind of get asked to show within a theme of a created show. I guess I try to kind of acknowledge it, but not kind of fill the brief in that way. That's why it's not all kind of totally slow throughout, and it's like conceptually watertight, because I don't believe in that, and I'm sure AV Festival doesn't want to have like totally kind of just the repetition of the same kind of work, only different materials. I think there's a general kind of pace in my work which is probably could be described as slow. And I think that's probably how I imagine it fits into the framework. The other piece in the show is Father's Monocle, which is a new work, which is the first time I work with a programmer. And I wanted to do work which uses the kind of flocking behavior of birds and fish. And it's a game engine which produces this swirling, flocking boids with this different separation and alignment, continuously evolving. And it's just a ditch, it's kind of flying about, but once you kind of turn the lens unsharp, it kind of becomes like this organic movement, like you would maybe have a snow, which kind of relates to the other piece in the gallery. And then I wanted to kind of just, again, like reveal the kind of construction of it. So there's a lens rotating in front of the projector, and it reveals that actually these kind of, these we call voids, are just this kind of numbers moving about. They're not like any kind of organic movement filmed by the camera. They're kind of just a computer program, a game engine, displaying them. And yeah, that was the kind of interest. It's still work in progress. Like, I mean, like in a whole show, everything evolves. Every piece changes every time I show it, and that's the first time I used, for example, I used a projector with the piano and the snow before, and it was just a spotlight, and now the projection, the 60mm projection without a film adds quite a whole different layer. So everything is evolving, because I think probably partly because on that scale, working on that scale in a big room like this, I can't reproduce it in the studio, so I use exhibitions to kind of continue and push the work along, kind of. So there's only so much you guys can do in the studio, which is kind of quite exciting. That work is actually never finished, that it's like an ongoing thing. There's like just stages in the development.